All right, I was just petting my cat. Welcome to action-packed 2-week break. No, it's been 2 weeks, right? Nobody's on a boat, right?
No boats.
It's the Spincast Cycling Show. Brian Kellison, Casey Shum, Brian White, and Lisa Vries. Live once again. The boomers are back. We haven't touched on that in a while, but the boomers are back. We heard from people. Never read the comments. But yes. I think it was playing a role of being a boomer, right? But maybe I could be a boomer. All right, we getting into it. I think Lisa Vries wants to start to show from the gun. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we do? Like the sprint? It's like everyone's like sitting in the pin. You want lead? Who wants to go first? Who wants to shoot off the front?
Started like a Zwift race, Lee.
Yeah.
Just light it up.
Muted.
Soft on fire.
Totally muted. Been ran pretty hard all day long. I think in general.
You want to set this? Someone to set the stage. What did we have? We had a
so there's
friend of the show. Yeah, we had a friend of the show. Sorry.
Like community terms of service. There is a lot of opinions that I think people get hurt over, feeling that people are doing things that they don't like. But those things do not breach the terms of service. So technically, they're not hacks. They're not cheats. They're not loopholes.
Unwritten rules? Is that what we're going to go with?
Yeah, they're not even unwritten rules. They're just game mechanics. You are allowed to use a coffee stop. You are allowed to sit on the side of the road. You are allowed to teleport. There's no terms of service that says you can't do that.
I've sat in game a lot for a jersey.
Yeah. No, and I think the general consensus is there is the flavor of the week right now, or the complaint of the week, is people getting bike upgrades without sweating their asses off.
Okay, let's set the tone. We've set this up. So it's TOS, end user license agreement, terms of service, verified, whatever. So we're talking about Zwift. Everyone that just came into the show and don't know what we're talking about. There is a lot of dust up in the community because people are, let's just go with this, gaming the system. Because like if you go to like Zwift Insider, it's a hack. He's calling it a hack, at least in that article that somebody shared with me. Is the new hot topic is bike upgrades. And the amount of, and we touched on this like 2 weeks ago. I think this when it was released. I can't remember. You have to spend time, distance, and drops to do the upgrades. Has anything changed from that standpoint? Like nothing's changed.
Same principle.
Still the same principle. Now, people have figured out a way to skirt the sort of hard work way of doing things, right? So it's like if you have to ride 100 miles or 100 kilometers or 160 kilometers to get the whatever, some trinket that you get from Zwift. I don't even know if you get those things. I think I saw the video for all the new stuff, which we can talk about a little bit. But you get the little squirrel in your back pocket. Maybe you ride a distance, or you ride a time frame, or you pay money. Or the drops. We're not talking about real money, but like in-game currency. From what I understand, if you can do it in the game, you're allowed to do it. We agree?
Pretty much.
It's a game feature.
Yeah. If you're not using an outside apparatus like what was it? The Ant Simulator. Yeah, that sort of thing. If you're not manipulating code, or you're faking you're doing something on your trainer or whatever, because people can ride. Can you do bike upgrades with speed sensors and cadence monitor? Yeah, you can just ride.
You can double your power meter. Like however, I've seen people post about in the messing with however it works on your pedals or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when you get into like you're breaking terms of service if you're manipulating weight, if you're using an outside influence like an application, an sim, something like that, right? I think if you're doctoring your power meter to get power, you're violating terms of service, but just repeatedly using an in-game function for how it was, so for how it works.
Yeah. So the thing that's in question, just so everyone's up to speed, from what I understand, because I'm kind of clueless on this too, is people figured out, hey, if I do this, it's like the climb portal that we had, or when we got the 100, level 100, people were like, oh, I'll just go to the shortest climb portal, and they give you a bonus every single 10 meters or whatever it was. So people were like, oh, I'll just do this. And we call it the grind, or the sort of, it's not illegal to just keep doing climb portals over and over and over again. So people were
preface this, someone on day one of the bike upgrades had a YouTube video that has a decent amount of following, and last I looked had over 5,500 views, showing how to do exactly what it is we're talking about.
Okay.
Sit on the side of the road and teleport. So there was someone that had, as a video, over 5,000 views of people showing how to do this hack day one. Now, I didn't get the update yet, but someone had a video about it. So this is where the issue is. Someone is telling you how to do it. I've seen several of these things.
Then let me ask you.
So where's the line?
If you're using, so if it's using, hey, these are tips inside the game. I was on my stream on Friday, and I brought up a sort of an analogy. I like Magic the Gathering, right? So Magic the Gathering comes out with new cards every 2 months, right? And so they rotate. Then they have competitive Magic, and then they have casual where you can use whatever, right? There's different classes of places where you can play. They write new cards, they write new mechanics, there's new rules. The players figure out ways that these cards are written to create new ways and do new things with the other cards that already exist, right? So riding up the Alp, and then or finding a friend and riding up the Alp, you can get the free download or the free downhill, right? People get off the bike all the time on the V Everest. They get off their bike and they go take a shower, they go put new bibs on. People skirt the what's fair and what's hard work and all that other stuff all the time. It's just now with this bike upgrade thing, what would it take if you did all of the optimization versus if you did it regularly? What's the time savings and what's it all? That's where people are getting frustrated.
I don't even know if there's a huge amount of time savings, because I've seen on Strava where a dude went up the Alp for 8 hours teleporting. That's a lot of work. Yeah. He put the work in. Yeah. He sat there on his computer teleporting for 8 hours. Yeah. That's ridiculous. But I think the issue what I've seen is within the community is it's morals and opinions.
Yeah. Principle.
And rules rules aren't
for principle.
Opinions. And the problem is people do a lot of, I don't like this, therefore it's wrong. I wish they didn't do this, therefore it's wrong. That person's a cheater because they're doing something that I don't like. They're not breaking the rules, so they're actually not cheating. You just don't like it. Yeah, this is a Zwift issue. If you don't like it, we need to be taking this up with Zwift. Zwift needs to fix this. They need to change their game mechanics and implement things that maybe you could only teleport twice a ride. Maybe when you're sitting on the side of the road, you're not getting ride time.
Well, I don't really think
Zwift did fix that bug. The side of the road ride time, that's fixed, right?
Good.
They did.
Good on. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think Zwift even cares.
No, I don't really think they care.
Well,
because
in this,
hold on, let me finish this one thing. Zwift allows the community to police itself. And Lee brings up a great point that it's people's opinions maybe then lead to actions where they're calling out people that really are not breaking the rules. They're just hey, you're doing something and I don't like it. And they're, reporting other Zwifters. That was the other thing I found. There's you can report other Zwifters, and then people get booted and they're like, why did I get booted? That is where it's I don't think Zwift needs to have somebody that's a little bit more diligent on the, hey, is this really something that's violating the terms of service or whatever, or is it somebody's just kind of bitter about what's going on and rectifying it faster? If it, hey, we want people to police themselves, like somebody's cheating in a race, like the Gong Show. The Gong Show, somebody's always like, hey, I need to report this person because they're, like totally not using real life equipment or equipment that's totally out of whack and it's messing up the experience. Let's report that person. Zwift is like okay with that, but if it's a wrongfully executed reporting, it needs to be turned around faster. That's where I'm thinking like Zwift is sort of like ambiguous in their sort of like policing of the thing, right? Yes,
and
everyone's reading the PDFs. Everyone's reading the EULA right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and yeah, this same theme has been repeated so many times in the community, right? And it's like we're here just kind of calling out this theme, right? And we've had this same theme with sandbagging and categories and coffee stops and use of power-ups and all of these things. It's the community or a group of people feels strongly that this is right or wrong or whatever it is, and then they start imposing that opinion in chat, in Facebook groups, in the forums, right? And then anybody who doesn't agree with that opinion or is executing the game in a way that doesn't align with their beliefs, they get labeled as a cheat. And we see this blasted even in game chat, right? Like,
oh yeah, that's why
you're an obvious A and you're in the B group. What the hell are you doing, right? Like, we've been through this 1,000 times. And like, I got in a big argument with one of the elite with a writer about this one time where I'm like, the rules are, this is a B category writer. If the person fits those rules, they belong here. Well, they're obviously stronger than this. Why? There's nothing to say they can't join the category above us. And I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing that says they have to. They're not breaking any rule.
No.
If you have a problem with this, you don't solve it with the writer. You solve it with the rules. If you have a problem with what's going on bike upgrades right now, you solve it with the code, not with the writers. This is a code issue, not a writer issue. We can't fix these problems one writer at a time. We can't fix the sprint bugs one writer at a time. You can't fix the category sandbags one writer at a time. You can't fix the bike upgrades one writer at a time. The people out in the community that are beating these drums are it's actually creating a toxic community.
Yes.
And if Zwift doesn't want a toxic community, they need to be better.
Yeah.
Because they're putting the community in a position that they're not mature enough to handle. Period.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it becomes
the
toxic.
community's not mature enough to handle it.
It goes back to if I lose in a race, the person's cheating that's beating me.
The TOS, right? We've studied this TOS. The words in this TOS, guys, I'm telling you, everybody, right? You're out there in chat right now, y'all are getting booted. You're all banned because if you have ever done anything to, I think it is, impact the enjoyment of another rider, you are violating the terms of service. And I can tell you, if you've beat me in a race, you violated terms of service, because I didn't enjoy that race as much because I lost.
I did that group ride and I didn't enjoy it.
And that's what I tried to convey to the forums in my post was like, you use a feather against me on a hill, that ruins my enjoyment. You're cheating. You use an arrow power up on a sprint. You're cheating. Like,
we're going down
my enjoyment.
We're going down a rabbit hole where it's like, it's very vague. It's specifically vague to allow some ambiguity for it to go, hey, you know what? Then we'll consider certain things, this and that, right?
And this is something too that kind of with this whole thing is, what bike choice, if we're like,
oh, this is all scam still. I mean, we're like, people are like really bummed out about this, and we all know that's a scam.
but that's the thing, like in big events, bikes are neutralized anyway. And a lot of these community events, like Zwift, I don't know, maybe Zwift's World Series, I guess it starts next week. I haven't seen anything about it, but someone's chat said it starts next week. But bikes are neutralized. So like all this upgrade nonsense, it's not really going to matter. Yeah, someone's going to be riding around maybe in a random race through the week, community race that might have it. But like, then we still don't know how they're going to perform in the race. So it may just kind of be a wash anyway with the draft. We'll see. It's to be determined.
Let me ask you this question to the panel here. Is the content creation of like the milestones for the community that powerful, or that like somebody who does the first V Everest or somebody who gets the first bike is become this sort of stature, right? And so it's like the symbolic. It's more symbolic than actually matters to anything. It's like the guy who did 100,000 kilometers, you know. There's these little wins that like people are not just racing. Like you're not doing a race, but the community is saying that, hey, it's like speed runs. It comes down to this. I was talking to, who was I talking to? Like Bjorn or something like that, about like speed runs. And there's the 100%, like let's say you do Super Mario World and you're like, hey, you do every single thing and you get every coin and you get every little thing. It's 100% speed run. Then there's a category for any percent, as fast as you can go for any percent. You can you can cut through things, you can clip the wall, you can do whatever, you can go underneath the sand, blah, blah, blah. That's where we are in this thing. It's not, you're not allowed to do it. It's just your experience is different. And why are you being mean in a community that's like, hey, we're already trying not to be toxic, and then it's being toxic? And final point before this is all make-believe. We're not really riding anywhere.
Oh, no. Just a game, right?
It's just a game.
Just a game.
It's just a game.
According to someone's comment that I read, that they are really upset that this was taken away, that they weren't the first because of how much they ride. And that's where we are.
Taken away. Oh, my
Yes.
goodness.
It took away their opportunity to be the first.
Do you know what took it away from me is I got the update 3 days after everyone else, so I have to teleport to catch up. That's my justification.
No. You're on the 3 day later milestone.
Yeah.
You're getting you're going to get the whatever bike. I don't even know what these bikes. I don't even have Zwift right now. I'm not.
Well, and that's
Zwift.
when you talk about milestones, like what you were just saying. Zwift as a game is not set up properly to have server firsts, world firsts. It's not set up properly. Like every other game, like World of Warcraft, they release an expansion. Everyone gets it at the exact second of in the world, and there's a race of who can be the first to level to 80. But
everybody's paused at the start line, right? They're in the blocks. They're all ready to start their Twitch stream. It's going to drop at noon, and we're going to start the grind, right? We're all going to start the grind together, and we're going to race to that upgrade,
and Zwift
right?
screwed that up already, because once you hit a level cap, you're still accumulating XP. Like in any other video game, when you hit 60, you stop at 60. You stop for 5 years at 60. And then the moment Zwift would release more levels, everyone was starting at the exact same time.
Right.
So Zwift, from a world first perspective, is it broken anyways? So no one should be butthurt that someone got a bike faster or someone did this sooner, because there's no even time frame. Like say, I got the update 3 days after everyone else.
This goes into the next topic. Well, it's still the same topic, but sort of a more in-depth. The spirit of quote-unquote game, or the spirit of, let's say, spirit of Zwift or spirit of whatever. Now you're saying, hey, like Brian said, somebody said, it ruined my opportunity to be the first to get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That goes against the spirit. Like the spirit of it is like the spirit of gravel. Like all the pros are racing in the gravel races now. The spirit
and now
of gravel.
They're making rules in gravel because
now they're making rules.
The original gravel riders that had the unwritten rules, now they're like, no, we need rules.
Right. So what's our take? What's our take on the spirit of e-cycling?
See, maybe I'm. I don't know.
You
out of
double dip.
touch
I
or
think
whatever.
that's against the spirit. How about that?
Yeah.
When you
So-
triple dip, I think that's against the spirit.
So if
So-
I double dip and
Yeah.
record my ride on my head unit when they do the new update, can I upload my recorded
yes.
ride on my
Yes.
head unit as an outdoor
Double
ride,
rides.
the same as the
Yes.
because my speed my kicker broadcast speed, so it should have speed and distance on my head unit too. So would that
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
cheating or feeling? Cheating or
No,
feeling?
Wahoo,
Cheating or feeling, I like that.
Garmin. Well, Zwift did say that they're going to have some implementation to deduplicate activities.
I did read
Can
that.
Zwift actually implement something like that? I don't really know. I don't have high expectations that Zwift can implement anything of reasonable time frame.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
let's
what
get-
I found funny about that is DC Rainmaker. If you watch his video on the Zwift releases that are coming, he was saying that
Yeah.
on these outdoor rides that earn XP within Zwift that they're talking about implementing, Zwift is going to deliberately cap, I think it was like the length and the
200
and the
kilometers.
amount of XP
Yeah.
that those will award
Yeah.
you, because there would obviously be people that would manipulate the system to gain an advantage and to get in-game rewards from
Yes.
manipulating
Yeah.
it. And I'm
So
like,
people are gonna.
so why were they smart enough to figure that out and
Yeah.
not the
But-
park on the side of the road? Or
I have
the
a friend that's a
teleport or-
trucker. Can I give him my Garmin?
You
How
can
does that
to
work?
get
Right.
to get 200 kilometers.
So I think
And
it
then
comes
after
back
that-
to you, BK. It's like, do they care? Do they really care?
I
Or
think
would they have stopped it?
I think they care. Just no. I think the gray area of that new update where it's like, hey, it's going to be real people. People like leave their Garmin going or their computer going, and it like they're driving home from a race or driving home from a real event, and they get you leave it on an airplane
Dude, accidentally, right? It's on the back bumper of
accidentally,
your
and
car.
it loads
Yeah.
up, and then they just don't even care, and then all of a sudden they get on Zwift, and it's like, oh, you get all these things because you've got all that stuff. I think people will manipulate it, of course, but I mean, why cap it at 200? They should just either let it go and do it like Strava, like let people police it, or try to find an algorithm to go, hey, that's way too fast, or like a speed in a car is doing it. Then people will like, oh, I'll just skirt the speed. I'll drive around my neighborhood at like 35 miles an hour and get all this stuff like Brian White's going to do, because he's going to double dip. He's going to drive with Zwift in his car
Oh,
going.
Who's going to do
Well,
the first thing? Your
Look at
bike
him smile.
trainer?
He just didn't go, no, that's not me. He's like, well,
I got a plan.
Yeah.
See, our speed limit in the plant is 15 miles an hour. So
Forklift.
if I'm driving 35 miles an hour or higher, it's going to be like, oh, that's weird. But if I'm driving around 15 miles an hour for 1, 2, 3 miles an hour, so
There you
all
go.
day long.
See, this
Uh-oh,
works out
now
perfect.
we're gonna be flagged.
No, this works out
We
perfect
can't
because I have
tell
can't
always
share
people how to
this.
wanted.
cheat.
I've always wanted to live stream my IRL rides and Zwift at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So now I can put Zwift on my phone and run Zwift with all my sensors and IRL ride at the same time. Double dip in real lifestyle.
Just don't double dip. Just ride, like I rode Ruby the other day and it was nice. I did Yellowstone and I teleported back. I teleported backwards. Oh, if you teleport backwards. Oh no, does that even work?
Doesn't
No, if
matter
you-
if
in-
it's
in
forward
Ruby,
or backwards, as
if
long
you
as you're not going
teleport-
up.
Yeah, and Ruby, if you teleport forward, it gives you a warning saying you do not get credit for the route for teleporting forward. But if you teleport back, you will get credit for the extra kilometers.
Okay, then I got credit because I went backwards because I wanted to show people that you can teleport in these games.
Yes, and the Yellowstone route did look really nice.
Yellowstone.
The
was
race
nice.
today
Yeah.
looked awesome.
Sorry, we derailed the Zwift. What is Zwift doing? So let's okay. So spirit of the radio. I'm going to keep
Well,
saying spirit of
Spirit of
radio,
Zwift.
but it's a spirit of Zwift.
Yeah.
What is like really bad for the spirit of what's like not cheating? Like we know cheating is cheating. That's bad. But
My perspective when someone says the spirit of something, it means my opinion of what should be, not what is actually supposed to be. So
Yeah.
like when someone says, ew, in the spirit of the rules, that means what I think the rule should say or
Yeah,
how
okay.
I read the rule. So whenever someone says that, it's like, well, this is what I think it should be. Just like I'm going to use like the set in stone rules of my whoosh, so we can't get any gray areas. The set in stone weigh-in rule after the monthly final, after the race, you weigh in. You have 30 minutes to submit your weight. You know what I mean? That's great. That's what everyone does. It's not like, oh, you should do this 24 hours beforehand, 2 hours beforehand. No, the rule is this. So
that's defined by the game, though, or the event organizer. But
right,
the event organizer
is
the one who runs the game.
Yes. So when like, let's just say there was something, and I know in the Zwift there's this, maybe in old days, Casey can speak of. Well, the rule says this, but this is what I feel it should be. So that's what this spirit, people get into this spirit stuff. That's what I take it as.
Okay.
But like the rule specifically says, do it then, or this is what is or not allowed. That's what it is. I don't care what you think it is. Like the rules specifically say blah, 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 blah. And this is something that Zwift failed on. I went and looked up the rules trying to find this out. The rules on the website are different than what I forget his name.
That are in the game? Hold on.
No,
Well,
this was the elite.
camera.
These were the elite
Yes.
racer rules. Brian went and searched and got
Yes.
the elite racers PDF rules for like the e-racing elite racers, and what he put out there. And then someone in our Discord that actually has access to the elite racer communications posted the copy
I think
that they
it was
received,
Chris.
and it's not the same one.
Chris Schwenker.
Yeah,
Chris
Oh,
Schwenker.
okay.
Yeah.
Chris.
So
And it's like, wait a
he
minute. When
had
you
the
search
actual
Google, you
updated.
don't even get them. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get the real rules.
So let's just say at this moment, okay, let's just say Kellison, you competed in Zwift games, you had a check mark, okay? You are elite. So you're doing this, but you didn't compete in Zwift games this year. So you don't have any communications. You just have, this is fair game. There's nothing saying don't do this. There's nothing saying we're a higher standard. You didn't get an email. You didn't have updated rules. And the community rules posted on Zwift's website, the e-racing rules or whatever they call it, the rule book, doesn't even mention that. It mentions like 6 other specific things.
Hold on. Am I still in the Zwift games? Don't have to re-qualify?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You had the check mark from a year and it hasn't been taken away yet. So
Am I
you're just
example? Because I'd never had the check mark.
yes, I'm using an example
Okay.
because you're on the show and you're not.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
So
I got the email to get the check mark, but I didn't do the check mark stuff
Right.
because I
I'm
didn't
saying if you
care
did,
anymore. I was like, I don't have time for this.
yeah. So you have no information from
No
Zwift.
new information. Yeah, well, I don't know because I
Right.
didn't have the check mark. So we're assuming that once you get the check mark and you agree to the verified Zwift person thing, and then you race and try to qualify, and you get the Zwift game, or what is it? The Zwift. What was the last thing? Zwift Games. Sorry,
Mhm.
the Zwift Games going into the Zwift Insider,
World Series.
going into the World Series. So many Zwift things. You would think there would be communication. That's the thing, is we need to maybe talk to somebody that's getting those communications.
Yeah, and that's the part that I am frustrated with this, because everyone on this list of show knows I was DQ'd from Indy Velo at the time.
Oh God,
With zero
that's a
communication.
drinking part right there, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You could have
and
been
I
the
have a hard
world
time.
champion.
yeah, it really cut me deep, and I've yet to. After like a week or two, I've literally not wrote it because I've had no communication from George or Bjorn. It was like, hey, this was the reason. It was just like, yeah, you did this. What the fork does that
I
mean?
thought you
Like,
got the
repeating-
reason. It was your
I got it
heart
from
got it from
Casey
me.
and Scott.
I
got it from
explained it to him.
Casey. Nothing from
Oh,
George
it was-
or Bjorn. That's what I'm saying. And I messaged both of them directly, and they both said the same exact thing. Too many repeating values. What the? It's
That
a
mean-
time trial. Why? What? Yes, there's repeating values. I'm trying to hold the same power. See what I mean? So like in these situations where someone may get banned, and it's like, boom, here's a ban. For what? What did I do? You need to tell me. So that goes
Yeah.
back to the communication.
Well, hold on.
Hold on.
Sometimes when people are cheating, you don't tell them what they're doing. You're saying you're cheating because you have anomalies, and we're not going to tell you what you're doing so you can fix that to then continue to cheat by knowing the information that we're looking for.
Well, in my case, I wasn't cheating.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? So how do you as a platform justify like
You
I'm literally
We're a
trying?
victim of early game
Yeah.
cheating analytics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so their system changes. It's like,
Their
oh,
thresholds were not
yeah,
set right.
whatever it
Yeah.
was, and it's like, okay, Yeah, they both like you didn't get no response. You got the repeating values. So then you had to
but
go
there was
back
no
and
explanation with that. That's what I mean. I had to go to Casey to actually learn.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so-
the other thing with most gaming is you do get
Yeah.
like if you actually get banned in a game, you will have an email within seconds of the ban stating you are banned because of blah 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 blah. If you want to appeal this, please see this email. And most people that I know that have been banned in Zwift have never received any communication.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, ever.
most games it's going to be it may be vague, but it's going to be your account has been disabled for X purpose.
Yeah.
There's at least some communication, right? Not just like what the heck's going on, but
And that's what I'm going after, the communication aspect. And then the community side also fell into this because you went into the Discord trying to find answers from, and at this point it was still relatively small. And I knew a lot of these people and they were just cutthroat and like black and white, blah, 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 all this with no help. And that ruined it for me.
George rules with the iron fist, man.
That ruined it for me because these
Why?
are community members.
Get better equipment, buddy.
Yeah, that was the answer. Get
Stop
that
better
was it.
equipment.
That was it.
Stop
Yeah.
It was
having
just
Bluetooth
told
problems.
just get rid of your garbage and get better stuff.
Yeah.
Fix
so-
your damn
Mr. I
Bluetooth.
don't use my Karoo as a dual recording because I'm recording 45 other things on my computer. So you're not really dual recording. You're recording one thing on like 3 different things on one source. Now are you dual recording to your Karoo when you ride every time?
But I do my whoosh, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to the spirit of the rules though, because I think Brian White, you were on to something there that generally when the comment comes up with the spirit of the rules, usually when that term needs to come up, what that really means is the rule's not clear enough. So we're interpreting it, and there's a gap there. And you're right. This came up in a very prevalent thing about the time that I had some really bad experiences in elite racing, and it was all about the spirit of the rule. And I exactly took the black and white line that we're kind of talking about here at that point, and that's kind of what put a target on me. Was I said the rules are very clearly written, and I agree that this feels a little disingenuous. What's happening?
You said spirit of the rule. Are you saying spirit of the game or the competition,
Well,
or you're saying
it's-
spirit of the rule?
Well, in this case, it was spirit of the rule. So
Okay.
this was a weigh-in thing, right? Okay.
Right.
Very clear rules that said within 24 hours of completing the race, you had to submit a weigh-in video. Within 24 hours. That's all the rule said. Within 24 hours of race completion, you had to submit a weigh-in video. And this is what the weigh-in video needed to be. Apparently, the winner of a race went and someone pulled off of their Strava a 5-hour indoor ride that happened after the race but before the weigh-in, and they made the weigh-in. And they're like, that's a violation to the spirit of the rule. And I'm like, okay, I see that this is a loophole, or this is a intention that you might want to close the loop on, right? As a race organizer, but it wasn't a rider issue. They're like, they need to DQ, they need to hold that person accountable. And I'm no, they didn't break the rule. You need to advocate to get the rule changed. You can't fix the user there. It's the letter of the rule, right? Everyone in every sport is going to work in the gray area. When you have to use the spirit of the rule or the spirit of it in those terms, what that tells me is there's a gap between what's written and what the intent is, or you don't understand their intent. It's one or the other, right?
Right.
If
It goes
Zwift
back.
cares,
Yeah.
Zwift's going to change the rule because you need to advocate to Zwift and say you need to close this loophole.
Doesn't this-
And if Zwift doesn't care, then
Yeah.
you're not interpreting the spirit of the rule, because if Zwift's not willing to change the rule, then you're wrong. That's
Right.
not what they intended, or they'd change it.
So I'm picking up what you're saying. Like it goes back to the thing. Remember when I was doing the thing for the qualifying thing, the national
Power Passport?
champion, Power Passport. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bad memories. It's like Brian with his little Indy Velo DQ. The vagueness and it's not clear. It's not clear. And then I said, there's the do-gooders and the do-badders, right? So the spirit is, we hope that everyone is going to be a do-gooder. And the spirit of the game is, hey, do it the way it was meant to be done and ride the thing and do whatever. Like, what is it? The other one that people get frustrated with is the late joining. Like, I love watching Fez, Mark Ferris, our friend of the show. I love him late joining and doing the spin thing. Like, he's like, I'm going to late join. He does like 5 late joins. So he rides about, 2 hours, but he does like 6 races or whatever it is, and he gets the spin. That's what he wants to do. That's fun for him. I have no problem with any of this because it's all make-believe. It's like, the fun is more important than the seriousness. But then we try to do the seriousness. And that's where Casey's saying the rule needs to be really clear and like, hey, if this and this and this, and you just have a giant rule book because people are going to push the limits of things and push the boundaries to try to get away with stuff when you can just be like, okay, we've learned something new. And you set precedent by going, hey, somebody rode another 5 hours afterwards, totally dehydrated, had way less weight after their race. It was after their race within the same ride. And it's like, come on, we know that that's probably not what it's supposed to be, but we need to go back and rewrite it. Don't bust the person that skirted the thing. Maybe, warn them and go, hey, this is questionable, which is what you get when you like cross the center line in a race outside is like, hey, at the beginning of the race in outdoor racing, I don't know how it is in other countries and stuff, but they have a lead ref or commissaire and they state, here are the rules for the race. Don't go over the center line. It's an open road. Like, don't go over the center line. If you go over the center line, you're DQ'd or you'll get a warning. And then the moto kind of, hey, if you're abusing it, like I've been in a race where a guy went from the back over the center line right to the front, and the motorcycle rode up to him. He's like all the way to the back, and he just moved the guy all the way back. He didn't DQ him, but he said, hey, I'm going to interpret this and I'm going to make a judgment on it. Like, they have a guideline. That is where, when it gets to the non-casual, which is the serious racing, what is it? What do we call it? It's casual versus competitive. The competitive stuff, it needs to be really clear and flesh that out. And that's where I think the gray area or the spirit is, if you are a pro or elite rider and you have been verified, or you are somebody who's an upstanding person in the community, and when you put on the, hey, I'm in an elite race, I'm doing an elite thing, I'm going to be follow elite stuff, and then you take off that cap and you are a regular person, because you are part of the community that you have agreed upon sort of by public opinion, the court of public opinion, and the sort of rules that you signed up on, you kind of need to ride in a different lane than everyone else.
You do to an extent, right?
Okay.
But you still get to be casual.
Oh yeah, you get to have fun, of course.
Because I had this debate, right? And I think this is where it gets fuzzy and where the self-policing gets dangerous and this person took a very hard stance and said, if you are an elite level rider riding a community race, you are disrespecting your opponents if you don't upload a dual recording of every single race that you do. And I'm like, wait, no. Like, I get their purpose, right? Because they feel like people are coming in community races being shady, right, performing at levels that they can't do in elite racing, and they go to elite racing and it's different. And I get their point, but I'm like, let the dude just jump on and not worry about having to change his pedals and get a head unit and all that, right? He just got home from work. He's been home from work for 10 minutes. He wants to jump on his bike and do a race. It's not disrespecting your opponent by not doing it. But it was this is back to this, like, community self-imposed and community policing. I think it gets too toxic. If it's not written, then let them go and quit trying to solve it in Zwift chat, because it's the same thing with the categories, right? You're clearly a 5.0 plus rider and you're in a B category. Like, his race score puts him in B. If you have a problem with that, you have a problem with the race score, not with the rider. Zwift. Right? Like, go to Zwift and say you need to fix your system. Don't go to the rider and say you need to join the A pin because you're too strong. Zwift let me join the B pin, so I'm going to race the B pin.
And it just goes from one issue to the next. Like, we're on bikes right now. Fez is in chat. That's the coffee stop heard around the world. I mean, that was like, Fez was like the most famous coffee stop of all time.
Oh yeah.
Just happens that he, was in a ride with someone who has a very large audience and that someone deemed the coffee stop cheating. And then
Yeah.
there was a huge hoopla within the community. No,
Yeah.
there's no TOS rules about coffee stop. You can use a coffee stop whenever the heck you want.
Yeah. if
And
it's
he was
available,
entirely wrong,
boom.
but that's the problem with the community. And that's what's happening in a lot of these forums is people are putting their own opinions, not rules, opinions, and going, that's wrong. It's
Yeah, yeah.
not wrong. It is not. Like,
But
If
no.
you don't want somebody to use a coffee stop in the ride that you're in, join a race. Because
Yeah.
guess what?
Yes.
They're shut off for a race.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
it was
yeah,
so
we've-
funny though.
Yeah,
It was
because-
so fun.
That was good. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that because it was like the bad thing from it was is he got really.
Well, I think Fez was getting
he was
harassed
getting
on Strava.
harassed. Yeah, he was getting
Yeah.
harassed, which is not cool. And so that's where it draws. That's where it's like you. It's like I've said this before. It's like rec league softball, or it's like in the United States we have a thing called adult softball league or whatever it is. It's rec. It's like people get
Beer
off work
league.
and they show up. Yeah, beer league. They
It
show
is,
up and
barely.
it's like it is their only thing in life that matters.
It's
And
their
if
World
somebody-
Series
Yeah,
every Tuesday
yeah,
night.
it's yeah, exactly. And so when you are, trying to, do well and you slight somebody else, there's a dust up, right? Instead of just letting it go and go, you know what, that's not cool. If you're breaking the rules, like if the coffee stop, whatever it's called, coffee stop, coffee break, whatever, if it's in the ride, then you can use it. But if it's a race, then it's not there.
Coffee stops aren't allowed in races. It
Yeah.
was like a rando regular group ride. And that's the problem too, is the line between
Yeah, it was like
everyone
a tour of
group
Watopia. It was like a double
group
X.
rides,
Yeah, yeah.
races.
Oh.
People don't seem to have that
Yeah.
distinctive line.
We've had the same anger and opinion on steering too, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, quit
Oh, yeah.
steering, you suck. Just
Well,
ride your bike. And
Speaking of
come
Fez,
on,
he's a pay to play. Didn't we talk about this on the show one time?
pay to play.
But now it's for free. So is it pay for play? Okay, if you get one, and you got it for free.
You still got to pay shipping. I've got an
Oh.
$8
All right.
$8 right here. Right here.
All
I
right,
finally
but-
got an email.
All right,
Yeah.
we've discussed this. I think we're all on the same page. I think people have maybe a better understanding. Obviously, it's still going to be the same thing. It's still any sort of new thing that somebody wants to get and be symbolic and be,
Well-
I'm the first one that did this. Like I climbed Mount Everest. The first one, it's going to be you did it the wrong way or you didn't do it if you got beat fair and square or look, if somebody did it and there was no loopholes, like there was no sort of gaming the system or, not taking a warp zone. Like these are not like, hey, Nintendo puts a warp zone in the game. People are like, I beat the game. Yeah, you used a warp zone. Well, I didn't beat it every level, linear.
You did repack ridge and you used the
yeah.
time boost.
Yeah, it's all these different it's like we're going to continually have that. It's more of like I think the closing message, because I do want to get into like some other stuff, is let's just be cool. Like it's not that serious. Even the serious stuff doesn't have to be that serious.
And
What's the saying?
Just
Don't
because
hate the
it's not-
player, hate the game.
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Just
I think
just because you're not willing to do it the way other people are doing it doesn't make them a villain, doesn't make it cheating, right? There's a difference between I'm not going to do that and that's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Other people can choose to do that. Everyone has to draw their own lines, but until it violates those rules, this whole pitchfork and we're coming after people and got to submit a ticket and cry to Zwift about it and all that. Like just ride your bike.
Yeah, if there's no
I think in-
rule set, hold on. If there's no rule set, then the spirit is a very fluid
Right.
thing, right? And really, the slot in the spirit of Bike Terror or spirit of Ruby. It's kind of like, hey, it's either the community owns the spirit or the company owns the spirit, or it's a hybrid of the both.
To me,
parties.
this mentality will end up neutering the game a little
Mhm.
bit, because with all of the complaining that goes on, Zwift's general knee-jerk reaction is going to be to take away any advantage because the advantage wasn't getting in a fair way because some people feel slighted. And then all of a sudden we have all these great things in the game, which I think the bike upgrades are great. We have all these great things in the game that we can't use in competitions because enough people cried about it that Zwift just said, fine, we're going to neutralize the bikes, right? Because that's what's going to happen. You guys need to get over it if you want a freaking game, right? Like,
yeah, they spent a lot of money on that wind tunnel to get these bike upgrades, and people aren't going to be able to use it. I think that's bad. I think there should be across the board, like use it whenever you want. Have the same. Well, I'm same physics across every single thing that they do, but they don't do that. Go ahead, Brian. Let's wrap this up, and then we can move.
Yeah,
into stuff.
What's your guys' opinion? It's kind of the same thing. My whoosh, you can import Zwift or whatever levels. Like that's gaining a.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I didn't do it, but I love that people can do it.
Yeah, I didn't either because I want to get there myself. Yeah, there's like I think Zavarice has 1 kilometer and he's like level 80.
No, I have a bunch of kilometers now. No, I only did it though for testing purposes.
He's like 115.
I actually, if I could retract my levels, I would get them to retract. But I wanted to see if it actually worked.
Oh right,
so I could come on the show
you were testing,
and be like, it actually did work. I'm level 74, but.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like, then all the spirit of my whoosh people are like, oh, you didn't do it. It's like I get on Ruby and I'm like, I've been riding a lot and I'm like level 9, and I'm like, I'm like excited and I'm racing against like 40s and 50s and stuff, and it's like, this is fun.
To me, it's just I want to get there on my own. Like I could care less whatever.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Double dip.
I'm still pedaling. Whether 2 platforms open or not, I can't control.
Can somebody share the Ruby loophole with me, please? Because I'm like level 8 and I can't even get a single bike upgrade. Like, what the heck? Like,
it's a
Zwift, I got 3 bike upgrades in a week, and Ruby, I've been riding for 3 months, and I just don't have an upgrade. Like, come on.
Well, I just want to touch one more thing on what
Ruby's a lot of sweat equity.
is Zwift is ultimately to blame. If don't jump on the bandwagon of blaming the user.
Yeah.
If you truly feel slighted, contact Zwift and say, I don't really like this part of the game, and explain it. Because what I'm seeing in the community is everyone is jumping on the user. It is not the user's fault. None of these users have actually broken any rules. So blame Zwift.
That we know of, because we haven't.
That we know of.
Yeah,
yes.
we know of. We're assuming.
There is some people teleporting and they're changing their weight to 200 kilograms and they're going downhill faster. But in general, it's not the user.
Yeah.
Like Zwift needs to be aware of this. Like, hey, and it's not even just be nice and that you're complaining. Zwift, fix your shit. Stop making teleporting 500 times. Like,
I'm okay with teleporting. I'm not for these changing of the weight. One, it takes too much time.
I think that's
for me to
violation of TOS.
I think that's change. I think changing the weight is bad. But
I think that is
teleporting is in the game. You ride with friends. I mean, people are like, "Hey, I'm on the top." Remember, we used to do that.
Actually, you know what's funny?
The Twitch people used to go, "Hey, I'm riding the Alp," and people would like join in or ride with the person and like hey, jump on and we'll get the free downhill. And people like hop on, and all of a sudden. So
I was going to bring that up because back in the day when I was climbing the Alp all the time and Doc was doing all this drunk Alps and Weebles and everything, I couldn't even tell you how many times.
Don't shame the beer Alp.
Well, I just want to say if Dr. Weebles ever starts riding his bike again, and if anyone watched him do a sub 40-minute Alp, and as soon as he crossed the finish line, oh my God. It was a sub 40-minute Alp drinking 9 beer or something crazy like that. Insane.
Yep, 6-pack.
The guy's an animal. Yeah. Crazy. But regardless, every single one of us in the little Twitch community had jumped in at least just for the downhill. And last year, when I was recovering from surgery, Kellison's climbing the Alp. I'm doing 100 watts and I teleport to him like 6 times. I get 35 miles in 58 minutes doing 100 watts. Like, who cares? It's part of the game. I'm just.
Glad you took advantage of it. I didn't even remember me doing it.
Yeah, it was January 24th of 2024.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Zwift used to organize downhill after parties where you.
Didn't they build the thing at the top?
Yeah,
that little loop that they never used. Whatever. Why are we going? We got it. The spirit. If the spirit is ruled by the community or the court of public opinion, I think people need to chill out a little bit more.
Well, bullying and harassment is
not
against
cool.
the TOS.
Yeah,
that is
actually
correct.
And it's funny and the code of conduct, which links to the TOS, states bullying harassment, even outside of Zwift,
Right.
can
Yeah.
be bannable offense. And so there's a lot of people on those forums that have their pitchforks and their torches
Yeah.
out going, we need to go on Strava and we need to shame these people and we need to name names. That is actually bannable.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the person was doing, teleporting is not bannable. What you're doing is bannable.
Yeah.
We all get spirited from time to time and maybe get a little too far out in front of our filter in our head, right? We're all guilty of it.
Mhm.
We all need to be human and realize whoever's on the other side of that chat box, right? We're working on our keyboard a lot of times. Not like there's not enough think before you speak going on in some of those forums
no.
and that. So just
Yeah.
you know, there's someone on the other side of that that's
Yeah.
taking the wrath of that, and a lot of times the person taking the wrath of that is taking that wrath from 50 pitchforks, and it's 50 on one kind of thing. And
Yeah.
Zwift has put them in that spot and built that environment. If they're not blatantly cheating and violating terms of service, understand that's a little unfair. Or that's a lot unfair to that individual too. So
Yeah.
have a little compassion there.
Right.
All right.
And
Are we
go
still
ahead.
got? Come on. What do you got? You still got one more on this one?
Well, what I was going to say is in my stream and Casey's stream in the same day found people that were blatantly
Done similar
cool.
things.
yeah.
You're passing people with just randomly on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I passed one of the Halo bikes. Like
Yeah, same here.
it's been 2 weeks. The only way to get the Halo bike in 2 weeks is
Yeah, I thought you
You
guys
at
said
least
it takes
parked
like
on the
6
side of the road.
months. I thought it
Right,
was like
like-
you had to. I remember you guys was like, "Oh, this is." I was excited when you guys were explaining it to me.
Yeah.
That it was like, "Oh, it's gonna take like 6 months." I'm like, "Sweet, that's a lot. That's a big, cool thing where you do it." And now you're saying that people have it in 2 weeks. So, all right, let's go into. I want to talk about the update on Zwift really quickly because I thought there was 2 things that I liked, which was the outdoor rides. I think that's cool. It's probably going to be abused or whatever because most people do that. But the core body temp, so they're attaching other devices into the thing,
Well,
right? And that's actually a field, which that got me excited. But everything else was kind of meh. But what do you
Well,
guys think about the new
There's
stuff?
one piece, and Casey mentioned it. I don't know if it was in chat or one of his streams.
left, right
They're
power.
putting left, right balance, right? So
So what does that mean? Does that
But are we
potentially
getting-
mean dual recording?
no.
That-
That just means that you're gonna have to pair your power meter instead of your trainer if you
Ah.
actually want to see left right
No,
power, right?
wait a minute. Isn't left right power just it knows like if you have like I have
Only
dual power.
Neos.
I have dual. No, but I have a trainer and I have pedals.
right.
If you do pedals, you'll get the left right.
Yeah,
if you do
right.
smart trainer, you won't get the left right.
Do you
Correct.
get left,
Yeah.
right if you
Correct.
just do pedals in Zwift?
Well, you
No,
don't now.
not now.
Zwift doesn't
but you do
read
it
it at
in
all now.
Training Peaks. You do it, and I think
Yeah.
you can. I don't know if there's balance. No, field doesn't do
See, so
balance in my
if
whoosh.
it's-
Doesn't do
it depends.
balance.
If-
Balance
if-
is if you just have 2, like if you have left right crank or you have
Right.
left
Yeah.
right pedals.
Which is power meter pedals, do left, right. But
Yeah.
is the game recording your trainer and your power meter left, right pedals? That's where
We don't know if
we
it
don't-
goes
I
to
don't know
that
about
extent.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
gonna
about that,
assume
but I'm saying that like you just select. You're like, hey, if you want dual, like because people do a workout in Zwift, they don't care about the smart trainer stuff.
Right.
They'll control it with the smart trainer, but they'll use the power. They'll do the dual power to get the balance. Right.
It's a huge update if you get to pair the power meter and the smart trainer and get
Which
left
is
right
it'll
balance.
get it up to spec with everything else.
It's a nice little bonus if it's just left right power off your primary
Yeah.
power device, and you're going to have to choose if you want race mode off your trainer or if you want left right power off your
Right.
pedals because you can't have both.
Yeah. So of all of the major, let's go with all the stuff that's behind Casey right now for the audio only audience. This is Zwift,
Yeah.
Ruby, My Whoosh, and those are like the top 3 Training Peaks virtual. So there's like the 4, right?
Got TPV, alternate on,
And then Bike Terra. I would throw Bike Terra in there because I like Bike Terra, but they're not like a major thing. But
like that.
Yeah.
of those, Ruby and Zwift are the only ones that don't have dual power. Everyone else has dual power.
Well, my Whoosh has dual power, but you can't see it. You can't access
But
it.
but it's
you can
in
pair
the
it.
selection.
But
That's what I
it's-
mean.
yes.
It's in the selection. You don't.
Yes.
I mean, who's looking at dual power on Training Peaks? You just select both, but you're only seeing one power source, right?
But it's in your file. It's in
I
your
meant,
file.
I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh,
like,
you
'cause-
mean after the fact? It's recording it. Oh, it's not
Yeah.
recording it to the
Yeah. So
whatever
what MyWhoosh
fit
does,
file or whatever the MyWhoosh file.
yeah, what MyWhoosh does is I don't know what goes into it, but the fit file has your trainer. The fit file doesn't have your power meter, and there's a little small white thing that says, "Your dual recording will be sent to MyWhoosh." So it's like a separate fit file of your dual recording.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
how it works.
My
but you
Whoosh's
have no
secondary
access to it.
powers. Yeah, it's only available to my Whoosh. It's not available
Yes.
to the rider.
Oh, so
Where
that second
Bike Terra-
box that you select that just goes to MyWhoosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get that. You don't get
Mhm.
that.
Oh,
data
that's
back.
weird.
And
Yeah.
when you download the fit file, it's not there. So yeah, that's why I dual record all my Sunday race clubs, because I've had a battery
Good for you.
die in the middle of it. Or
Welcome to the club,
I forget
buddy.
what happened,
Welcome to
but I
the club.
used my dual recording to verify the
Okay.
result.
So the Zwift thing is a potential of dual power,
Yeah. So like if
but
you pair
right
your
now it's
power
just
meter,
balance, right?
well, that's what it
Left,
says.
right
It
balance.
says left right balance. So like they're not going to upgrade your firmware on your trainers to read left right balance. It has to be
No.
if you have pedals
Yeah.
or a power
That's
I
what
think
I'm
just
thinking.
going-
There's a lot of people that don't have smart trainers, or they do,
think
and they use the dual power, but it doesn't show
Yeah.
a balance. It's just
I think it's
another
a good
field
thing.
in the top left,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
They're
the
just
core.
picking up an additional data element
Yeah.
on your Bluetooth or ANT stream from your power meter
Mhm.
if it's available.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, okay.
that's the
That's
simplest
cool.
way, and it's not available on a smart trainer. It is available
Right.
on a lot of power.
And the 5-position cranks for the Zwift
Oh, that
ride.
was cool too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was good. That's good.
I
That's-
would like getting those for.
I think
just,
that was a must-have $100 upgrade.
Oh my
So-
goodness, yeah.
I talked about this a little bit on my stream. I think a lot of these updates for Zwift, from a business sense, I think Zwift made a good move here, because I think the ability to upload your outdoor rides and to
Yeah.
have the fitness freshness data, which is like, your ATL, CTL, TSB off of Training Peaks, or fitness freshness and fatigue.
Yeah, which is it's a
Right,
Ruby
like
does
it's-
outdoor. Ruby does
Yeah.
outdoor, and I think Training Peaks does outdoor because
by-
it's tied to Training Peaks.
By putting outdoor stuff in there, and they're going to start providing you with that graph that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get on
yeah.
like
The
Training
fatigue
Peaks or
thing, and they
whatever,
have-
right?
and
Your
they
whole
have their-
fatigue
yeah.
graph.
Mm-hmm.
By doing those pieces and giving rewards in game for outdoor rides, I think from a business move, if I'm sitting in a boardroom with them, this decision is about someone who's struggling with spending money on different applications for cycling and deciding what they're going to do. They might be pausing Zwift in the summer and paying for Strava or Training Peaks to get those advanced features.
Yeah.
We can write a little bit of code, put that into Zwift, and those people that might be pausing for 3 or 4 months to ride outdoors are now going to just say, I'm going to keep my
Well-
Zwift membership, and I'm going to quit paying for Strava because I can get most of Strava for free. And I'm
And
going to keep my
yeah.
money in Zwift, and it's
The
got
amount of
everything.
extra data they're getting for ride metrics is insane.
Okay.
And then that leads into, could they start calculating your ZFTP from outdoor rides and indoor rides?
Oh.
Could they
Oh.
self-seed your
Yeah,
racing score
hey.
from outdoor riding? Like, could
Hey, you went on a
start?
real life crit and you totally blew away your Zwift numbers. You should
Right.
be able to do this.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good business move for Zwift, because I actually think this actually has a return of value, like real dollars to Zwift. It actually could prevent some people from pausing their Zwift membership over the summer, right? Some hardcore outdoor people that
Yeah.
grind Zwift in the winter, because they're gaining indoor things. They can get their fitness and freshness and fatigue data from Zwift that they might be paying Strava or Training Peaks or somebody else for. So I actually think from a
Okay.
dollars perspective and a membership perspective, I think it's a good move.
Now, here's a question: is if you do pause, and you sign back up, will it not pull all your outdoor rides? That's the thing. Is like, hey, you hold on
to
to
be
a seat.
seen, right?
Yeah, so they probably are not going to do hey, we're going to pull it from Strava or pull it from all your stuff. So you have to stay active to get your double dipping like Brian's going to do. I can see him. He's
Well,
already-
and are
Oh,
they
dude,
going to
like
let
they're
you?
also-
Will they let you bulk load them? Or
yeah, but I
we
don't
found
think so.
this
I bet you
on.
this is going to stay on.
We just
yeah.
did this on Ruvi, right? Ruvi will only import outdoor rides that were were recorded directly on Garmin or Strava. So like my
Oh,
Strava,
they don't support other
so
computers.
my Element uploads to Strava. If I uploaded to Strava, it doesn't go into Ruby. But if I actually opened my phone and opened the Strava app and clicked
Yeah.
record and wrote outside, it will go to Ruby.
I actually looked into
But it
that.
has
If
to be
you
recorded
record,
in Strava.
Oh.
you need to send it to Wahoo, and if you send it to Wahoo, then it will
Yeah.
go to Ruby.
Okay.
It's a third.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a third. It's a third-party privacy thing. It's like Garmin won't take a ride from Strava and then send it to someone else,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not a ride,
I got
a
you.
Push.
ride
They
from
won't
Zwift.
push. They'll pull. They'll
Yeah.
pull, but they won't push. And so Ruby, the push now with the. Okay, I see what you're saying. Is if you do a ride on a Wahoo device, I don't know about Karoo or anything else, they might have a list. It has to be on that device. It's not a, hey, I did a ride, I went to Strava, we're going to pull from Strava, which I think like Intervals does, or My Whoosh does to get all your levels, is it pulls from Strava. It doesn't pull from Zwift, correct? Doesn't-
Pulls from Zwift, either or.
Wait, you link your, so My Whoosh pulls from your Zwift account.
I linked something of my Zwift profile and told them how many kilometers I've ridden, and they
Oh.
verified it.
I can send them, it's like a Swift Power link or something.
Oh,
weird
okay.
like
Yeah.
that,
All right,
though.
all right.
Yeah, it's like somebody's going.
Yeah,
and
that's going to be like a
visually
data
verify.
thing where it's like, hey, you can't, the GDPR thing, which is like sharing too much
So-
stuff. But yeah.
And I think they already said, Zwift did say like it was going to connect, I think, Garmin and Wahoo right out of the gate, and there was more to come. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Karoo by the end of the summer or something.
Okay,
I
so
think
what's the
you're
viability?
rightly is I could connect my Wahoo to Ruby and probably get my Wahoo to
Yeah.
because I'm using an Element is what I'm using. An Element
Which I don't
Gold.
think I've been doing in my stuff or my Garmin. I have a Garmin that could go to Ruby, but I haven't been riding outside, so it doesn't really matter. But when I do it, I'll do it. Now, is Zwift, I think you're right about the business aspect of it. Does Zwift have enough sort of serious clout to really have people stay on?
So Casey said a good point. Now that Zwift might potentially offer all your fitness and all your values and whatnot, it gives Zwift a lot more incentive for people to keep it year round. I just solely focused on Strava, which I could care less. I never even used Strava when I paid for premium for it in the fitness or anything. But the Training Peak side of it, he said that, and I didn't even think about it because if someone's on the fence of like, oh, if I pay $20 a month or whatever the number is, I can get my training metrics and a riding program. Now it's like if you have Zwift giving you data of here's your fitness and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they're going after the Training Peaks.
Yeah,
Well, and that's
so
what somebody said. Like they're trying
Yeah.
to compete with Strava. And I'm like,
I never
don't
even
think
thought about that. That's
not
excellent.
I don't think they're trying to directly head to head be like, we're going to take down Strava and conquer Strava or conquer Training Peaks. But I think it's if we can pull 3,000 subscriptions over the summer that don't pause, that are going to take their Strava money and come our way instead of that way. It's not we're trying to defeat Strava or even compete with Strava or Training Peaks. But if we can add enough value to our platform that people are willing to shift, some people are willing to shift minor dollars our way, then it's a win.
I think it's actually the way you present it there. I think it's really good for like, when I saw them like DC Rainmaker's video when he was showing the hey in the companion app you get to see your outdoor ride that's in Zwift. I was like, this is Strava.
Yeah,
and Strava's been pretty consistently frustrating people.
Yeah,
and
I don't pay for Strava. I won't give. Strava
Yeah, and
money
so
now.
it's like, hey, maybe this becomes the social thing because it's actually, hey, I'm actually doing these rides and I can get together with people and do rides in Zwift where the ride in whatever the Watopia thing, but in Strava it's like always in the ocean and it's like some weird thing, but like that might be a reason for people to go, you know what, I don't need Strava as much. I'm just going to stay in Zwift. And then people are like, oh, I'm on Zwift too. Now hey, I've already built up a social network on Strava. That's where it'll be tough. But I think if you're adding a fitness element with outdoor rides, the what is it, the training, your fatigue, and they're giving you little notes. They're like, hey, you're overreaching. I thought that was the one thing that was in the thing was like, you're overreaching or you're not working hard enough. those are starting to be added value than just, hey, this is where I load my fit file workout in and I do my workout and
I
I'm
think
done.
the Ant Bevs of the world haven't been exposed to that, right? So I think they're gonna love it, right? Because they may not have that Strava and that Training Peaks background.
A quick thing for the Ant Bevs is like you're saying, I did a 70 plus group ride for a Jersey Unlock. 9 people at the end of it were registered for Zwift Power. So that gives you an idea of the 9 people out of 70 were registered on Zwift Power. So unless it's like specifically on the app, in the app, like Kellison ever says, like, you know, you've got the app right there. I think that is an excellent thing because these 60 other people never even went to Zwift Power to even try to register. So I think it's
Zwift
an
Power
excellent
is not
part
really
for
the place where you're looking at your metrics.
No. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying that, like, we're in agreement here. I'm just saying that, like, less people are wanting to opt into that because it was the place to go. And now that Zwift.com is becoming a place that, hey, it gives me a lot more than I ever needed. My race score is going up, my race score is going down. I'm now getting, my fatigue from outside, and I'm getting all these other, like, hey, I'm overreaching, or these little fitness things. I just stay in this world.
And as long as it's on the app, because I think the Zwift Companion app, that's what the teaser photos look like. I think if it's there, it'll be used a lot more because people going to Zwift's website might be I don't think.
And they did say like the companion app's almost like a complete rewrite coming.
Yeah.
Right. With
and that's what it needs to be.
New roads tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
14 hours from now.
We're only an hour and 6
phased.
minutes
They're not phased either.
What do you mean they're not phased?
Everybody gets them tomorrow. They're actually in the game now. They're just not unlocked. So everybody has
what
that.
have I've been saying this for freaking years. Every time something Zwift, Fems, whatever the hell it is, like the Tour de France avec Zwift, now it's the Paris-Roubaix Fems avec Zwift. We're getting new roads in France. It's cobble roads, like a 5-kilometer section. Hallelujah. It only took 4 years. Woo!
This is what gets him hyped up. He's awake now.
Yeah.
New roads. Enough new roads?
Hell no. It's like a 5-kilometer section.
No, not enough.
You were just excited I just burst your bubble.
It's like, it's 5 kilometers of new roads and 30
routes.
routes or something, right? We're just going to go back and forth on the same 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
It will help France have some variation to it. If they're not pancake flat cutovers.
I shake my head at the roads, but I do appreciate Zwift's effort with their latest releases. The bike upgrade thing was fantastic. The companion app stuff, the cranks, despite not being part of the game, the cranks are a great idea. They're reasonably priced, like $100.
Yeah,
like that's a good deal. All that stuff, I feel like Zwift is actually doing something. In the last 2 and 3 months, there has been some big moves. Can they bring it all together? That's yet to be seen.
That's kind of what I felt like. Some of these updates aren't that exciting to me, but I don't think I'm not looking at them and like, what the heck are you doing, Zwift? Why are you spending your time on this?
Yes.
They seem more calculated.
They're not super excited. Some of them are not super exciting to me, and I understand where some people are just like, yeah, whatever.
I haven't said
but they're not
who
bad.
the F wanted this.
Right.
yet.
Like, yeah, why are you wasting your time on this? I don't feel that way about these releases.
My go-to is they really sat in a boardroom and thought this was a good idea. Like I haven't said that on almost all the latest releases.
Yeah, these are good.
Yeah,
all right, so
good.
We'll end with this.
All right.
What's Zavaris and I's and Casey as well? Biggest complaint, phase rollouts, okay? So first name basis in chat just said this. We got Scotty in our back pocket. So just the bugs that I've noticed, and we haven't rolled it back. My ghost replays, gone. They're not there. They're the little dudes on the road, not in the leaderboard. The garage is all forked up now.
Oh, God,
and then Scotty looks like he's getting sucked through 3 different Matrix movies at the same time as you're going along.
All right, who's Scotty?
Why haven't we rolled it back?
The squirrel.
Oh, the thing in the back pocket?
Yeah.
Why haven't we rolled it back? We've got 3 bugs that I've noticed. Oh, that's what we phase rollout for. Get out of here, you.
I about lost my
What's wrong with the garage?
On the team time trials with the garage,
got rid
because
of the most
all your
sorting.
recent bikes are supposed to be at the top, right? And all your recent jerseys are supposed to be at the top. I did the update. I went to go do team time trial, and they're like, I need to find my dirt jersey, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, why isn't it at the top? Where's my bike? And I'm like it takes me 20 minutes to find the dang jersey I want to wear in my thing again. Like they took things aren't sorting to the top anymore. And
I did a 1 minute plus bike change.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
1 minute plus.
It was 1 minute because I couldn't find the damn bike because it wasn't where
Yeah,
it was
see?
supposed
It was
to be.
supposed to be at the
And it
top.
totally wrecked.
Wait,
It's
did they do
broke.
sorting now?
They broke the sorting with this update.
Oh, there was
So-
sorting.
Well,
Got to the
your most
jungle.
recent bikes were at the top.
That's
If
true.
you put
Most
if
recent.
Oh,
the last jerseys, you know, they started sorting in the order of last worn or last used.
Yeah.
So your basic TT bike, your basic road bike, all those things were right at the top of your garage. Now you got to go scroll for them. Well, jerseys, that's awful, right? You know, Brian White had talked me into
7,000
adding all these
jerseys.
things into my closet. So I got 250 jerseys, and there's 30 of them that are coal black, which is what the dirt jersey is that I'm looking for. And the scroll wheel sucks in the garage. So you're like trying to scroll down. I'm like, nope, there's a black jersey. Nope, not that one. Nope, there's a black jersey, not that one. Like, oh, come on.
so the phase rollouts did not solve. They created the last update created 3 new bugs, at least 3 new bugs
That I've noticed. Yeah.
that you've noticed. So the phase rollouts didn't
I will
solve
take
that
bugs
to go,
with
hey.
no phase rollouts.
So the first rollout, the first phase didn't catch any of these bugs.
Yeah.
So they
somehow.
didn't stop it and fix it for when it rolled out to you.
Yeah.
So your argument, which I agree with, is don't phase roll out. Just roll it all out.
Yeah.
Sorry, roll it all out.
So when Ruby came up,
And
when
then-
Ruby hacked Zwift virtual shifting, they put out a update, and it actually broke elite trainers. And people went on the forum and complained, and then Ruby put a patch out within like a
Hot
day and a
fix,
half.
the hot fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
There you go. That it? We're way over than we normally are. We used to go 2 hours. We don't do that anymore. This is
No.
about
we're
15
good.
minutes. But
We're good.
we're done. Yes or no? Any
Yeah.
last little things?
If Holly's still winning, this is the climb where I did 375 watts for 14 minutes, Holly.
What does that mean? Like,
Oh, she
That
was
isn't-
giving me shit about not saying anything about it the other day, so because I was being humble.
you're 375?
Yeah, for
But-
14 minutes right behind us.
Okay.
So there you go.
But if I do 375 for 14 minutes, what does that mean?
Oh, you didn't win an SRC race, so that was
That's
Holly's
correct.
point.
I have not. I don't think I
If
will
I did
ever.
375 for 15 minutes, you had a time machine that went back 7 years.
It's all based on your weight and height, right? I'm just saying it doesn't mean anything. The number doesn't mean anything. You got to say, oh, I did 4.5 watts per
Yeah.
kilo for 5
it
minutes or
was-
whatever
it
it is.
was
Or I did
4.6.
5 watts.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
where it's like people are like, oh, I
4.6.
understand what you're saying. When you're like, hey, I did 600 watts for 5 minutes. Be like, yeah, I'm 7'8", and you know I'm like 355 pounds.
You must be
Yeah.
retired in 70.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
We're going down
that's
a
it.
rabbit hole. Nothing that I know of about Ruby. And oh no, wait, there was a thing on Bike Terra. Last thing, Bike Terra. They have a little brake indicator. They've put red in the speed, so you can see the braking.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
there's a couple little updates here and there, and they keep working on stuff. So people are into that. But on that note, out of here. Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Thanks everyone for chat. We didn't get any questions. Did we answer first name basis? This question, or was it just phase rollouts? I thought that was the phase roll. Why not
Well-
phase rollouts?
No, he said Pocket Scotty is the best new feature, which led me to the Matrix
he's
Scotty.
he's in the cosmetics. That is not the best new feature. But
I tell you what,
Hey.
it's entertaining.
hey,
I
that is
enjoy it.
that is the spirit of Zwift. Is people can have their opinion.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're saying goodbye.
Oh,
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
ya.
Thanks for hanging
Bye.
out.